Hello, everybody, and welcome to Return of the Middle Sticks Premier versus Florida Southern College here in the lower bracket of the Aegis Champion League. This is a do-or-die situation here for Return of the Middle Sticks as they're coming into this lower bracket with a record of 4-3, while Florida Southern College has a record of 5-2. I'm Kyler Gish, and I am joined by Lane here on his channel. And Lane, we are looking at a little bit of an update situation here regarding the team. Do you want to tell a little bit of a background on why we're facing some ban issues as we head into the draft here soon?
Yeah, basically, we just finished our tryouts for NACL qualifiers for the summer. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get them completed in time to get the full roster in to the Aegis system. So we have Boy Wonder that we are using as a e-sub for the rest of the tournament, just to get extra practice with the guys. And because of that, we're going to be losing our first 3 bans every game. So should be fun. It's going to definitely make things a little bit more difficult, but makes that all the better if RotM's able to come out ahead and go far in the tournament.
Hey, as long as we get some OP picks, you know, maybe that opens up the draft, maybe it explodes it a little bit. We are looking for some certain very high prio picks here. If you've been watching Pro Prey recently, you kind of know that the attack damage carry role is kind of taken over a little bit with the Jinx, with the Zeri. So trying to get some of those priority picks like that. As well as some comfort, I'm sure, can come through as well. But it should be really fun. Even with the loss of the 3 bans, we should be able to get some priority picks and stuff like that, because the meta is so open right now in a competitive play.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things. I think what's going to be really interesting with the 3 bans, and I think Florida Southern, since they had side select, played this really smart. They get to go to red side, and there's no bans on the first 3. So that means they're going to be able to pick up 2 highly contested picks, which will be really nice for them.
That's right. And as we get into it, we see the Talon ban. That's away from Spizzy. He has Talon, Master Yi, Boom right there. Those are his 2 most played by far in the solo queue. So Florida Southern has definitely done their research on Spizzy, taking away those 2 Assassiny picks for him, as the ROTM side is just going along with filler picks, or filler bans on that side. The blue side, as Gragas comes through now as a ban, a really good flex pick. In some of the mock drafts that I've been doing, Gragas has been going really early, as the Wukong is picked up for ROTM.
Yeah, this Gragas is definitely very high priority. And it can be flexed so many different places, which makes it really good. Wukong could be the first pick for RTM. It could be followed quickly by the Jarvan. Seems like, thinking about it, these dudes kind of seem like 2 of the best junglers left up, and then the ADC pick coming in for Caitlyn.
Right, yeah, and you see that kind of synergy right there with Jarvan and Caitlyn. Jarvan can trap, Caitlyn can put down her traps. She's guaranteed to pretty much hit all of her spells. It's a nice little duo, but it's not like the most insane combination that you would want from like an attack damage carry and a jungler. But whenever we're looking at AD, or whenever we're looking at junglers, we're usually looking at mid lane picks, and so it's then you see like the Vi Ahri and stuff like that, which was available, but Florida Southern decides to opt for the Jarvan, which is a really stable, nice tanky pick. It offers engage, it offers peel, a lot of different areas that the Jarvan can go in. And there's that Jinx that I was talking about earlier as such a high prio pick that you can really build a team comp around and carry. And you see the more of that protect being drafted here from Return of the Middle Sticks with the Thresh being hovered.
Yeah, and that should give them some options. You think you're going to probably pair Caitlyn with something that's going to be able to poke. The Zeri, Zoe Instalock, very confident in taking the mid laner. And that's going to be blind, but I think they're going to be able to take away some of the mid lane picks that would go well into it. That's usually what you do with this R3 slot, whether you draft your solo lane, top or mid, pick it, and then you ban whatever is going to counter it. But Zoe just going really quick here.
Yeah, and that's anti-hero on the mid lane for Florida Southern. That is his most played by far in solo queue. Very comfortable in the Zoe. And you say that, however, but Florida Southern is banning away those top laners. Maybe looking to blind a top laner on R4, save that counter pick for the support, which is super strong, especially in the spot lane focused meta. As you see RTM take away some of those supports that pair really well with Caitlyn. You don't want those poke supports, stuff that can lock you down. Morgana comes to mind with the Caitlyn matchup, as well as Lux and Karma.
That's for sure. And I think with these two bans, you're probably going to look at a Scion pick here. Just really safe blind no matter what is played into it. And Olaf being one of the bigger counters, but Braum going to be picked up here. Interesting. Usually you don't see that until later in the draft when more people are going to be, but you've got... you go ahead and get that out of the way so you can get your top laner.
Yeah, as you talk about, you know, we're kind of making rationalities for the way that Florida Southern is drafting. However, I'm kind of confused about, you know, we make those points where R3 you pick a solo laner, then you ban out the counters to your next one, or to the one that you currently picked. But saving top lane counter pick as the Scion now comes in for ROTM. Like you said, that's a very stable top laner. Not a lot of counter picks. In fact, Florida Southern banned most of the counter picks that you would go into a Scion. So we'll see what they decide to pick up here. When you're thinking about Scion, you're thinking about tank shredding stuff. You think about the Camille, maybe the Gwyn. Stuff like that could really shred through the tank if you want to play towards that top side, or you can match it with another tank such as Malphite.
Yeah, I mean, I think Malphite is just in such a good spot here. They did ban away the Olaf and the Fiora, I think fearing that Hoarder may end up picking those if they're left up. I think Olaf is a really good blind into most top laners, can go into the tanks really well and the other fighters, but in the end, just going to be a tank matchup top here. I will say, I think Scion generally wins out, but how much that actually ends up mattering, we will have to see. Usually, getting a small CS lead on your tank top laner is not going to be the difference maker in the game. So
yeah, with these two tanks coming into the top lane, I'm expecting a lot of attention from the junglers going down to that bottom lane. There's playmaking on both sides. Braum is able to tag a Thresh or a Jinx or the Wukong, even if there's a 3v3, then that concussive blows are so important and so powerful, especially in that early game. That stun can really turn the tides, but you know, a Thresh and a Wukong and even Jinx with her chompers can make big plays on the bottom side. So I think another part of this game is going to be whoever can get the push mid lane will be able to rotate down and maybe provide like a dive for that enemy team. So we're going to be looking for those angles. What I'd like to see from both sides should have pretty much the same game plan. It's jungle goes to mid, helps push out the wave, roam with your mid lane down to bot lane. The most important role is
there is going to be a lot of action on the top side of the map. I think they're going to let those tanks just kind of live in isolation, and then they're going to try to get these AD carries going as much as they can. So I think Florida Southern definitely has, with the range advantage in the Caitlyn and the tanky Braum that's pretty good to counter into the Thresh, should have the advantage just in champions wise early in this one, but it'll be about Jinx trying to get out of this laning phase as strong as possible so we can get to the team fighting part of the game.
That's exactly right. And so while we're doing a little pick ban again inside the client this time, I just wanted to take the time to shout out ROTM Spectral versus Going Ghost. The Victorious Amateur Series is going on right now on twitch.tv/middlesticksgg. Kind of a dual cast we have going on here, but on the main channel, it is that Spectral team versus Going Ghost. I believe they're both 1-2. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep, you got it.
All right, both 1-2, fighting to see who can take it out a lead in that league. I haven't had a chance to watch Spectral very much, but their games are, I'm sure, exciting as most games are.
Oh yeah, it's always fun to watch around gold elo teams, and they always provide a ton of entertainment. So if you want to watch the multicast, of course you can check out the multi-Twitch link that I dropped in chat, and watch both casts going on. We got the ROTM doubleheader tonight, which is why we're over here on the Lipo Lane channel.
Yep, but going back to our game, zoning in, I want to talk a little bit about this bot lane. Last time I cast this bot lane was completely different.
Yep.
So what went into the decision to make these roster swaps to run Puppey and Boy Wonder throughout this playoffs?
Yeah, they were just really impressive in our tryouts. I think it was the one question mark that we had coming out of the first NACL. I felt like our top side performed super well, and we wanted to see what we could do to change up the bot. We of course had our support tryout again, gave him a shot, but ended up finding Puppey, who's just been absolutely spectacular on the Jinx in our scrims. And then Boy Wonder too has been performing really well. He's a great communicator, which is something the team really needed, and really tracks summoners and allows for a lot of playmaking for the team. So been really happy to add these two, and really excited for what we're going to be able to do this summer with a basically all challenger roster. So
Now I see Retract is into the top side here instead of Hoarder. Is that
is Hoarder's secondary account. So
okay.
you could just call it Hoarder. You could call it Retract. It'll be fine.
All right. I was a little confused on where we were going with that, because Hoarder is definitely known for not the Scion. Hoarder's known for playing very aggressively on the Jax, the Olaf, but he has been playing a lot of Cassante recently, which kind of fills the same role as that Scion-esque pick, where you just try to play disruption, play towards your team, towards your AD carry, towards your carries. So it seems like he's put in a lot of practice on that recently. So he should be able to do fine in team fights here. Again, it's all about the bot lane. This Jinx getting ahead, this Caitlyn getting ahead. It really depends on who can get to objectives first and set up, especially when it comes to Caitlyn. Her traps are so powerful in blocking off those chokes, making sure that your team can fight front to back with that control over the terrain. So on Florida Southern side, I'm looking for them to get to objectives first and try to set up with this Caitlyn. On Return of the Middle Stick side, I'm looking for them to maybe find a pick on side with Thresh. You have a lot of pick potential with the Annie speed up into stun combo, into a Wukong coming out of nowhere. That's another option that you can get for a pick on side. And so if they can find a pick and then move into controlling objectives, that's in my head, that's what I'm seeing on the side of Return of the Middle Sticks. Lane, what are your win conditions for this game?
Yeah, I think really this game is going to come down to whichever side is able to engage first. The Malphite and the J4 are great for getting on this really valuable target in the Jinx. Jinx pretty immobile unless she gets her reset, and so it's going to have a really hard time without her flash being able to operate in team fights. But if RotM can be the ones to engage first and create space for that Jinx, I think that's going to bode well for them. They definitely have ways to blow up these carries in the Caitlyn and Zoe for Florida Southern, so they have ways to blow that up. And so I think it's going to be a very team fight heavy game. I think both these teams are really going to look to try to coming out of lane with small advantages, and then it's going to come down to those objective fights.
Yeah, and another big part about what you just said about Florida Southern's engage is that Jarvan getting onto the Jinx without a flash. That's why Thresh has to stand apart from the Jinx, and then once Jinx gets Jarvan ulted, cataclysmed, then Thresh is able to throw the lantern, Jinx is able to get out of that Jarvan lockdown, and then that's an opportunity for her to free fire after they spend all of their CC onto the Jinx. The Thresh is going to play a huge role in these parts, so it's really up to Boy Wonder to position correctly in these fights away from the Jinx. That way you give her an option to get out and be able to free fire.
Yeah, that's for sure. Also, a well-timed flay can help disrupt that J4 combo, but nothing's going to be able to stop this Malphite. And I think that's going to be the big decider here, is how well can Florida Southern get onto the Jinx pick with the Malphite, and will they have enough follow-up and damage to actually kill her through that. So really exciting here as we get onto the Rift.
Hopefully there's not any spectator bugs that we have to worry about. It seems like I'm loading on correctly this time, which is goated from Riot Games, small indie company. However, when I did log on for patch 13.8, all of my settings got reset. I don't know if that happened
Oh,
to anybody else, but
that did happen to our support right before this game. So,
yep.
all right, I'm gonna go ahead and speed up all the way, or fast forward all the way, and then we'll get it going here.
Seems like a pretty standard spread from both teams. No shenanigans really going on besides Spizzy eating that Jarvan flag just for a little bit of damage, but he should be able to regen that before his first clear. If we're looking at jungle clears, Lane, what are we looking at when we're looking at the first clear, the second clear, and so forth?
Well, Jarvan does have that opportunity to make an impact early. You could see a sneaky level 2. I don't really expect it here because you don't have a lot of good setup for the Jarvan, but um, can just put a lot of pressure down, especially if he starts at red buff. Looks like he's going to go to the bot side and get a leash after dropping the red, a ward on the red, but um, and then for
Yeah.
Wukong, he is a full clear jungler. He is looking to get level 6 as soon as possible. And it looks like we may see a
A
late
late
invade here.
invade. Late invade coming through, but it's spotted out by Boy Wonder, so they should know it's coming. The Oracle is popped by Paramore, and they're able to take out that ward. As the red buff is going over, Spizzy has to give it up. As 4 people come down. Pretty good start for Drakowski. One thing that you don't want to have happen for ROTM is for the enemy jungler to split map towards the bot side. You don't want to be having to play up towards these tanks, which is what Spizzy might have to do here. So really good late invade call from Florida Southern, as that first clear is going to be really good for Jarvan.
Yeah, that was so good from them. I really liked that they were able to use the strength of that Braum early pick to be able to just walk in. And there's not much RTM can really do. The CC from that Braum is just so powerful in these early levels. So really good late invade there. And you're going to have Jarvan right on the side of the map that you want to. So they're already going to get this pressure down with the wave pushing in. And this Jarvan might just look to wrap around. See if he can do it.
Yeah, that is one big thing that you want to have happen when you're Caitlyn. You want to have the ability to push, to use your range advantage, to poke underneath turret, to deny CS that way. So really good for Florida Southern to just have that pressure where you don't know if the Jarvan's going to come bot here as he moves up now to his top side of the jungle.
Yep.
So far, Spizzy has only been able to clear 1 quadrant, which is not the optimal start that you would want.
Yeah, and I think this is a really, really good call from Dragowski to go ahead and just go to his red buff so that Spizzy has nothing else to do. Now when you're in this scenario as a jungler, your best option is probably to just kind of look for a gank, see if there's something you can do with this extra time while Jarvan is going to farm. And he may look to potentially do something here up on the top side of the map, but so far,
yeah, Hoarder has that priority in the top lane, so he's able to move down, kind of shadow Spizzy, as he's looking to take away these Raptors. But Drakowski is here. A little armor shred going in as Hoarder moves him out. Nebula not really able to follow. The bubble misses, and a big chunk from Max, but he's taking minion damage that he is able to soak up some of the Zoe damage as a little bit of trading back and forth. But that's really good for Spizzy to be able to get at least something back on that top side.
Yeah, and that was nice by Hoarder there to walk down using his priority in the top lane to help his jungler out, get him some extra farm that he normally wouldn't have gotten. But still, this J4 is going to be very far ahead, still with his bottom quadrant to clear out.
Yep, and we can even see that he's making his way down to the bot lane. They might be able to find something here as the wave is pushing away. But Boy Wonder and Puppe are playing it safe, which is what you'd like to see. Hoarder is able to get some damage onto Doraikon, as these names get hard to pronounce.
Yeah, there's a lot of D names with long constants. So, yeah, but this is Dragowski has just played such a good early game here, pretty much flawless, putting that pressure down while that wave's pushing away. Makes it really, really hard for this Jinx to get any of this farm, and they're just going to lose out on more and more minions. Already a 12 CS lead opening up in that bot lane.
Right, yeah, and that's a big thing to call out is with that wave pushing away and not much vision to spot out Drukowski. You never really know if he's going to be coming behind. As this wave is frozen now in front of the turret, a little lane gank might come through from Spizzy, but he's just taking it as an opportunity to cover the bot lane while they're in this dangerous scenario. As a gank going towards the mid lane, flash bubble lands onto Max, and he's just dead as soon as he can. He flashes, but it's to no avail. That's a really good gank from Drukowski.
Yeah, and perfect follow-up there from Nebula flashing in to guarantee that bubble. That just means there's no escape from Max at the end of there.
But Unstoppable Onslaught comes out. Order trying to get some damage. The tanks are just in a wet noodle fight in the top lane.
I always love how directed camera just always goes to the tanks that are just fighting and
Yep,
doing basically nothing.
we've seen this lane with all of its beauty as Drycon is pulling the wave, and Drukowski is making a play top. A flash coming through. If you're able to see it on the top lane, a flash comes through from Hoarder. That's another really good gank, just getting a lot of stuff done fairly early on this J4 for Drukowski.
Yeah, and those flashes being burned is really, really big, especially as Dragowski is looking to hit that 6. So if you can get an ult onto Max or onto Hoarder Retract in the top lane, that's going to pay dividends blowing those flashes. I will say Hoarder's done a really, really good job in top, opening up a CS lead on the Malphite, which is kind of expected. Sion outranges a little bit, but again, probably isn't going to end up mattering too much as long as Malphite doesn't fall that much further behind.
The number one thing that we need to be looking at now are who can start stacking these Drakes, who is the priority in these lanes. It looks like Max has the push mid for the most part, but that push mid obviously opens it up to ganks, which he was punished for earlier, but that mid shove will be really important when you're setting up for Drakes, and then moving down to the bot lane to try to get them prio as well.
Yep, Spizzy's done a good job here catching back up, only down 4 farm now, with his bot side coming back up, but we're going to probably see teams start to position for this Drake, and
Ooh, bubble lands onto Max as we still see the top side on the on the view, but a double stun comes through with the R from Max. Tibber is doing a lot of damage. Being able to keep them off of Max is huge there. This directed view really loves the top lane.
Yeah, it really does, but a nice play there. Oh, and Boy Wonder.
Hook on to Drukowski. He might be in trouble. He does have flash, but he's not able to EQ or flash away. He goes down, which is really good pickup for Spizzy, as some more wet noodle fighting is happening in the top lane. But that might open them up to make a play here in this bot side. Spizzy is looking.
And he's 6.
Javi might be in a little bit of trouble. That's right, 6. The Cyclone comes out. Javi in a lot of trouble now. He's not going to use any summoner spells. He's going to accept his death as Paramore now flashes away from the hook. And the Jinx R comes in. Double kill now for Puppe as they pick up a huge play onto the bot side.
Yeah, wow, RTM really capitalizing here in the last couple of minutes, getting 3 kills for themselves. Boy Wonder starting that off, really good positioning there, knowing that Dragowski is just going to come back through that jungle, lands the hook. Spizzy follows up and then goes straight into that bot side play. And a kill on the top side.
Oh, just like that. You thought there was going to be no action in the top side, but a solo kill comes in from the Hoarder on a Drycon. But again, in the long term, that might not matter as much as these bot lanes and the first dragon matters for ROTM. As Drukowski is maybe looking to make a move. There's his flash, there's his R, as there's no escape now for Puppe. And Boy Wonder is sure to go down next as he's tagged by Paramore. Huge play now. Return from Florida Southern onto the bot lane.
Yeah, RTM just overstaying there by a lot. They got the kills and then decided to do the Drake afterward, which is fine, but you're going to lose some farm for that. And they make them pay. Really nice pathing there from Drukowski to come down, pick those up, and get some return kills onto this Caitlyn. And Caitlyn's doing great. I mean, you're up quite a bit of farm, gonna grab an extra plate for yourself here.
Oh! The Super Mega
so
Death
much
Rocket
damage.
not quite able to find the kill, but it does do a lot of damage, able to clear that wave out, prevent any more plates to going over to Javi. But yeah, like you're talking about, there is a 5,000 gold lead onto that 80 carry. So Javi leading the way there. That's going to become a huge point when it comes to this mid game. Caitlyn doesn't have the best mid game in the world, right? She kind of gets stuck on 2-3 items when she would want more. So we'll have to see how they play it out. Obviously, if she has a Jarvan and a Malphite standing in front of her, then she's able to dish out a lot of damage. So we'll see how these objective setups go here in the future. But I mean, it's a trading blows back and forth from both sides. Porter is running this top side. He also has like a crazy gold lead. 15k gold up there for Hoarder, as he might look for another solo kill. Duraikon gets pretty low.
Yeah, and what's even better for the Scion is he's gonna go for oh, I know I'm blanking on that. His next item.
Is it Heartsteel?
Heartsteel. Yes, thank you. He's gonna go for the Heartsteel, which is gonna give him even more HP. He should be and make it way easier to kill the Malphite. So
I passed the new item quiz.
you did. I still hadn't. I don't play top lane anymore, so I don't build the top lane items.
Yep. Yeah, the new tank items are really strong ever since they did that little mini update here at the beginning of the season. Max taking a huge chunk there from Nebula. A dive might come through here onto Puppey if they're able to find anything, but no, plates are just going to go over to Jave as he extends that gold lead. It's going to be kind of a lull here for a little bit until we get the next dragon, I believe, unless something crazy happens on a jungle gank with Jarvan coming flying in from Narnia.
Yeah, you don't really expect much to happen because Boy Wonder's the only one with a flash down right now, and Jarvan definitely wants to look to blow those. So he may look to get a gank here, potentially blow a flash before this dragon comes up in the next minute and a half. And see if he can find an easy target when that dragon fight comes.
Yeah, and you see a lot of vision coming out from Florida Southern as they kind of control this bottom segment for ROTM, but Hoarder is able to get a lot of damage off from that Heartsteel. Another solo kill coming into the top lane. The tank v tank is going the way of Hoarder.
Yeah, Hoarder just dominating this matchup, and you know, I said the gold advantage won't be too bad if you go down in that tank matchup, but if he's able to have a full item or 2 items when you only have 1 or just your components, that's going to be a really tough ask for Duraikon to do anything in these fights. So
yeah, if you are facing a unkillable Scion versus a fairly squishy, given the state of the game, Malphite, it's going to be a lot easier to win team fights if you have that beefy boy standing right in front of you. As we see some posturing down here to the bot side. Hoarder looking to take this first turret in the top. A little bit of a split map play here. Duraikon standing in the fully charged Decimating Smash. And just that Heartsteel damage does so much if you're able to stack it up multiple times as the cooldown comes off in these long extended tank fights.
yeah, and he's just gonna, I think he's just gonna go for the tower here with the Decimate.
Oh no, he's letting the minions die. This is actually really good from Hoarder.
Yep.
To deny as much as possible, both CS and XP. It's really good. A missed cannon there as now he finally takes the turret as it was going down to minions. That Heartsteel proc is able to find a lot of damage. And Duraikon is sitting there taking it like a man.
He is doing his best, but yeah, the Scion is already 2 levels ahead here. Huge gold lead, and man, the spectator just loves showing this top side.
Oh yeah. Yeah, as you see now, Dragon is up as both teams, as 4v4, are posturing around Dragon, trying to get control over the river. Drakowski might look for something onto Max here. Max does have Flash, though. Drakowski has Flash as well. Boy Wonder now coming into mid to help push out the mid lane, as now Hoarder has come down. Maybe he can extend his lead into the rest of the team. Really good movement from Hoarder to predict that Flash from Nebula, as he's sure to go down. And now Duraikon has to R out. Really good from Hoarder to extend his lead this way.
Yeah, goes ahead and walks down, and he's gonna have a lot of prio pretty much any time in the next like 5 minutes.
They're looking now for Drakowski. Hoarder has no mana, however. He's able to get the shield off, but nothing else. He's there for Heartsteel procs and Heartsteel procs alone as the death sentence lands, and that is a death sentence for Drakowski as the Cyclone takes him out. Huge swing now for ROTM as they're able to pick up the dragon and multiple kills all across the map.
Yeah, we thought RTM would be playing around their bot side, but it is the tank top for Hoarder that is drawing all the attention.
It's the tank show, baby. As now he just tanks turret for fun as Drycon can only pick up the scraps that are left for him here in this top lane.
Yeah, Scion here, already almost 200 stacks on this Hearthsteel, 3-0-1. Let's just do a little check-in on the gold lead as well for good measure.
It is a 3.2 thousand gold lead.
That's crazy.
The rest of his team is behind, and he is all of his 2K gold lead for his team.
Yep. Well, he is going to have to convert this, and he actually goes ahead and just picks up the Hull Breaker, just saying, you will never kill me in this side lane 1v1. Even if you bring 2 people, I'm pretty sure I can take you. So I think this is honestly a decent pickup because who is going to stop him in this side lane? It's not going to be Zoe. It's not going to be Caitlyn. It's not going to be Malphite. You have to bring 2 or 3 people to him. And this lead has just allowed him to go ahead and build that item without too much of an issue. I don't think he's going to like lose much tankiness in these team fights.
Yeah, and Caitlyn is a really bad AD carry at shredding through tanks. So it's kind of good for Hoarder to play selfishly and play around his lead, as now he just ignores Drycon as Drycon tries to clear the wave to get rid of the backdoor bonus. As Hoarder just does not care. He's able to get that turret fairly easily without taking much damage. Heartsteel proc coming through, as it is a real wet noodle fight here in the bottom lane. Man, I don't know how to cast this. It's just hitting each other back and forth.
I feel so bad because we're just watching Drycon just take
Spizzy now goes in. The Cyclone lands on Dukowski. He might not have EQ to get out. Another knockup lands, and that's a takedown. 1v1 solo for the junglers.
Yeah, no one else getting involved there. Zoe was around to maybe try to do something, but looked at the Wukong, was like, I don't think I'm gonna help you out at all, buddy. So goes ahead and backs up. And now RTM posturing around the Rift Herald.
Yeah, looking to make a play up there with the man advantage. No jungler on the side of Florida Southern as they're able to pick up that Rift Herald. It goes over to Spizzy. Now a fight might ensue. Pepe's looking forward, and a flash coming through. The cleanse and flash away from Javi's really good, but Paramore might be caught now. He has to flash away as well, as a lot of summoner spells were expended there. Sign ultimate came through in the bot lane. Spizzy might be in trouble now, but he's able to trade it back onto Nebula, as just the miscalculation comes through from the Zoe. That Divine Sunder healed so much. That was so important right there for Spizzy. As the ultimate goes in now for Dukowski, Max might be in trouble. Remember, no flash as Dukowski tries to get out, but he's not able to. The stopwatch from Max saves his life as Javi now wants the kill really bad, but Jinx is excited. Spizzy's in there, tanking up turret. Paramore, no flash. Remember, Spizzy just use his. He ease forward. Q is not able to find enough, but the triple kill comes through for Spizzy now as the red buff finally ticks down onto Paramore, as Hoarder does not care about these turrets.
Man, RTM just eking out there, able to just get out with minuscules of health, and Florida Southern trying to find anything to get them back in this game, and it just goes from bad to worse. Really unfortunate that they weren't able to at least get some kills for themselves, but they're going to pick up one on the backside here. Yeah,
Nebula with that stolen flash is able to find at least something, but 12 to 4 kills, 2 dragon stacked for ROTM, and a 5k gold lead at 18 minutes. It doesn't bode well for the future. 7-0 on Spizzy now, as he picked up most of the kills in that exchange.
Yeah, the top side of the map just hammering away at Florida Southern for RTM. Doing really good here. He is even like to come back from that early game where he was super far behind and be this strong. He's playing it really, really well. Has just kind of ate it and was able to put up with it. But now Florida Southern has the fast track here onto the Drake.
Yeah, as Hoarder goes in, he predicts that they'll be in that bush. He's able to find a knockup. Drakowski's into the backline. The Cataclysm flash out as the Decimating Smash comes through. Hoarder is just that big tanky front line that you cannot get through to go to the backside, as nobody's died yet, but the Death Sentence lands way into the back for Boy Wonder. He's able to live for a little bit as Spizzy Burt finds the 4-man Cyclone. It's huge for ROTM. The TP coming in from the mid lane, they're going to try to chase down Dukowski. If they're able to find him, they're able to pick up the Baron that spawns in 5 seconds. I wonder if they'll go for it or just get the mid turret and take Dragon.
Yeah, I think they're just gonna go ahead and take those objectives. They may try to find something on the backside here, but man, everything coming up RTM there. Spizzy finding the 4-man knockup and playing that fight so well. Boy Wonder getting into the back with the hook onto the Zoe and was the only casualty for RTM there.
Yeah, the disruption that you're able to cause with the Cyclone, with the Boy Wonder landing these death sentences, with the Decimating Smash and the Unstoppable Onslaught coming through, it's just so much that you have to watch out for the squishies here on Florida Southern side, and they can't do any damage back at this point in the game.
Yeah, Boy Wonder in a little bit of a precarious spot here with Drakowski on the other side, but
Drakowski, Flag and Drag not able to find anything as the flay away. He gets tagged up by Braum. However, the box comes down. Drakowski might be in a little bit of trouble with this very fed Wukong running at him. Paramore confident enough, though, as a Drowsy lands onto Puppet, but he's able to cleanse it away. Paramore looking through. They're trying to get control over this top jungle just so that they can get access to the Baron, which is really good. That's exactly what Florida Southern needs to do in this scenario.
yeah, a little scary there for RTM there. Oh, they landed a good bubble.
Another bubble lands on a Spizzy Vert. He's getting very low, but he's able to find a way out. He might need to reset here or take some jungle camps to heal back up.
Yeah, meanwhile, Max just pushing relentlessly on the bot side here. That was pretty scary for RTM. Florida Southern almost able to find some picks, but just couldn't quite make it count. And now RTM's gonna base, come back, and push in these waves. Try to reset the vision for themselves around this Baron.
Yeah, Max does have that TP. It was really good of him to hold it there, as it was a little bit spooky, but I agree with our team's decision to just give up that top jungle, you know, push mid, play on the waves, and that's how you can enter the river after you're able to get a little bit of a push.
And we're actually, I think we're gonna see Titanic Hydra picked up here for Retract Order on the top side here.
It doesn't matter what champion he's on, he is the carry. As he's trying to find Nebula, Nebula uses his actual cleanse, even though he wasn't hit by anything, and he's going to accept death, I believe, as the Super Mega Death Rocket isn't able to find anything. But Nebula just gets one-tapped by a Hoarder as the Cyclone comes in. Javi falls as well, and that's pretty much all she wrote here in game number 1. They should be able to find at least the Baron and an inhibitor off of these picks. However, Drakowski's still alive, which means that there is a chance for a steal.
Yeah, there is that one chance, I think, to try to get something back for themselves. They do have some objective bounties, so could try to claim those, but some really nice sets of picks there from RTM. And Drakowski trying to get past Order. He's going to be able to.
He sent them on a little bit of a wild goose chase there as they were checking the top bushes, as now finally they are turning on to the Baron. ROTM looking to secure this objective to try to close out this game. It may be an under 27-minute banger, as we might look towards them securing Soul here soon.
Yep. I mean, if you're RTM, you can definitely try to play through this Baron, or you can just use the Baron to pick up that Soul and pretty much just win off of that. But I think with Hoarder, I think they just stick him at a side lane here. It's really strong split push potential. Now has the Titanic as well. So I think he may elect to group up with the team here, but I think a 1-3-1 looks pretty good as well.
Yeah, he does have that TP to join if need be, but you definitely want to get some gold value out of that Hole Breaker. So that requires you to be alone in a side lane. But if you are alone, it is extremely strong, especially when you are this accelerated. In this game, 24 minutes and 3 fully completed items, plus the Bambi Cinder, forward tracked, only 2 on their super fed 8-0 Wukong, which is maybe tanks are busted, who knows? Maybe it is a top focus game and I'm just complaining in all my solo queue games for no reason, as the Unstoppable Onslaught is able to be canceled by the Cataclysm. Retract now might actually be in danger. He is not strong enough to 1v5 as he goes down to all 5 members plus the turret. A little slow on the rotation there for ROTM as super fed member goes down as Spizzy is able to go in, flash in. Cyclone is able to find 4 people in total, and they don't stand a single chance on the backline. Spizzy is super strong this game. Puppet slays Paramore, and there's only 2 left now. to try to stop this. The two tanky members, the two engaged members that have no wave clear. This is for sure all she wrote for RTM in game 1 versus Florida Southern. As one more turret just to go down, the death sentence lands as the unstoppable force has to be used to go back into the fountain. Flash away as well. Laser comes out, and that will be it. Game 1 going the way of RTM.
Yeah, just a gigantic gap on the top side of the map here. Retract playing the matchup so well. And the final pick there I thought was maybe going to be enough to turn the tide, but the 10-0 Wukong had something to say about my thoughts there. So
If you
really
didn't think
nice finish from RTM.
If you didn't think that Hoarder was the problem, then Spizzy could come up right there, get a 4-man ulti just to put the icing on the cake there. Super dominant game 1, but it wasn't exactly how we thought it was going to go. We thought for sure that it was going to be a bot lane focused game, that there was nothing going to be happening in the top side. We were dead wrong on that front.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I think that's Hoarder just making it all about him, which is great to see in that tank v tank matchup. So we'll take a short break here as we get set for game number 2, and we'll see y'all in a couple minutes for the draft.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Return to the Middle Sticks premiere versus Florida Southern College. We apologize for that delay. There was some issues getting back into the lobby with the Riot Games client. If anybody has the client open, I'm sure that you saw the red exclamation point and or had the issues yourself. So we apologize for that delay, but we should be going into draft here for game 2. Reminder, Return to the Middle Sticks leads the series 1-0. They had a fairly dominating game 1, playing through that top side, which is not exactly how we thought that the draft would go out. But if we look here into draft for game 2, Lane, what do you want to see different? What changes do you want to see for both sides on this drafting phase?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing that needs to change is maybe give their top laners some more agency. I think the Malphite pick, while it was good, kind of gets outranged by the Scion, and there's not a lot he can do in that matchup to help himself out. So maybe picking a different Jank in the Scion, or just taking the Scion yourself. I think the jungle for Florida Southern did a really good job on the J4, so I would not be sad if he was on that pick again, but Florida Southern decided to go for blue side, so I have to imagine that they're looking at this Wukong pick.
Yeah, and that's a big comfort pick for Drakowski. He plays a lot of Wukong, a lot of Maokai, very meta junglers, and solo queue right now, so it's definitely a comfort pick for him. Reminder that ROTM is missing 3 bans due to a late lock-in of their roster, and with running Wonder Boy as the support. So they're going to be just banning random stuff for the first 3, and then they'll get their actual bans, 2 bans in the second ban phase. As we have a little bit more trouble, we're trying to get Hoarder back into the lobby. But as a reminder, we had a Wukong, a Jinx, a Thresh, an Annie, and a Scion picked up on the side of Return to the Middle Sticks. And then on the Florida Southern side, we had Jarvan, Caitlyn, Braum, and Malphite. A lot of bans to start for Florida Southern were targeted towards Spizzy with that Talon, that Master Yi, and to some extent that Gragas. And even with that pinch jungle pool, he was able to have a 10-0 performance on the Wukong. So I wonder if Florida Southern is going to make any changes to try to maybe take priority pick in the jungle early, or bait Middle Sticks into picking something and then crafting their draft around disabling that jungle pick.
Yeah, I think it's really going to be interesting without the 3 bans here. I think it makes things difficult for both sides. Obviously, Florida Southern wants some pick that they're going to get their choice of because they have the first pick, and without the RTM bans. So my guess is it's going to be the Wukong, since RTM had priority on it last time and they picked it first. I imagine that that's what they're going to go with, but that is going to give RTM 2 pretty decent picks themselves, because there's going to be a lot more of those top tier picks that are going to be open that usually aren't. So RTM on the red side is going to have to make value out of those picks without their bans.
Yep, and I was just kicked from the lobby. I don't know if you were.
I was as well.
Which
Probably
is a little
went a
interesting.
little too long.
Try to load back up into that.
Yeah, it should just pop back open if you type in the code again.
All right, there we go. But yeah, as you're talking about, I feel like that jungle is going to be really important. We did see, as you were talking about, that Scion outranging that Malphite in that tank v tank matchup, and then it kind of got unplayable there at the end for Duraikon. Once the Scion, once Hoarder was able to pick up 1 to 2 items, that Heart Steal came in huge. A lot of damage onto tanks, and then Scion just becomes unkillable. You're not able to do anything, especially as a Malphite and a Caitlyn. Not a whole lot of tank shredding ability there.
Yeah, and he just got such a big lead using that matchup, and I think it was really smart organization there. Since he was in the tank matchup, into that Heartsteel, able to pick up even more health on the Scion, that's gonna just create a big feedback loop because he's gonna get it off his grass procs, he's gonna get health through his W, and then through the item as well. Just makes him so unkillable in the late game. And you saw it took, at the end of that game, 5 people to slow him down and get the kill finally. So looks like everybody back into lobby here for this last game.
And we'll be
next
jumping
game,
to the draft soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, that priority pick, I'm excited to see what Florida Southern is going to pick B1. Again, there are no bans for the first 3 ban phase for ROTM. So they kind of get their pick of the litter more so than B1 would usually get. But we'll see. We have the Wukong on our mind right now, but I really do think that Jinx has high priority in this drafting phase. I do think that there is some tank shredding options in the AD carry better than Caitlyn. Caitlyn is decent as a lane bully right now, but again, I think she gets stuck on that 2-item mark and can't really do much into the Scion, the Cho'Gath, the tank meta that is coming through at the top lane. So I'm excited to see a different AD carry pick. I think that would better suit the meta right now. So we'll just have to see how it plays out here when we start going through the process soon.
Yeah, Caitlyn's pretty decent pick, I think, right now, but I think the one thing that hurts her is if you don't play around her and knock that first turret down and then look to move that up, maybe get that Reft Herald, get some more plates in a different lane. It seems like it kind of falls off, especially in that mid game, until she gets to about 4 items and becomes kind of a late game monster. So really need to push your advantage early to try to push through that really rough middle game.
Yep, and we see the bans starting out the same for Florida Southern. We see the Talon and the Master Yi gone. Again, it was Gragas third from them this last draft, so we see if they keep the same formula. It might even be a salty run back angle going forward with the Wukong traded though.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the bans are. Of course, RTM's bans here are just fake bans. Just trying to pick things that they know both teams aren't going to play. So getting those out of the way here. But the Gragas is going to be the 3rd ban, so it's going to be the exact same. RTM not going to be able to pick that up for themselves. And the Wukong, as we expected.
Right, that comes through. And one thing that you look towards for Return of the Middle Sticks here is jungle answer, and then something strong to go alongside that, whether it's an AD carry or a mid laner. Vi Ahri comes to mind. Max really likes the Ahri. I don't know how much Vi Spizzy has played, but he seemed really comfortable on the Wukong and on the engaging side of it. But Maokai now with the hover, as it's another strong meta pick. You're able to get some control, especially over the river and objectives with your saplings. It's a really good as a disengaged champion, which kind of counters the Wukong. If Wukong goes in with W and Cyclone, you can always R on Maokai and try to kite back that way. As Annie is now the hover. Max had a really great game. It was kind of a silent game on it because Hoarder kind of took them up the mantle in the top lane, but this Annie is also a flex pick. It can go to 3 different roles. It could go top, it could go mid, it could go support. So a really great opening from Middle Sticks, I think, on the draft to keep them on their toes for Florida Southern.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Florida Southern maybe go something like the Silas here. With the Maokai and Annie, you've already got two pretty decent ults, but you got to pick it up here if you're going to pick it up. And they elect to just go with the Zoe Annie matchup again. Yeah, Annie could be flexed out, but it looked pretty good for Florida Southern last game.
Yeah, that the aggressiveness from Drakowski in the mid lane made Annie go down a couple times. There's one that comes to mind where Zoe is able to flash forward. But again, this Zoe is a really big comfort pick for anti-hero on the side of Florida Southern. By far and away the most played in solo queue. So I wouldn't be surprised if Middle Sticks did have their 3 bans that it would be going away in the first round. As Renata Glask is now picked up. I actually really like this for Middle Sticks. They're playing pretty much a full disengage comp to try to counter the engage from Wukong and Rakan. I think it's a really good stylistic choice that they're making in this draft so far.
Yeah, I will say the one thing about the Zoe pickup does mean that Xayah is going to get banned away here in the second phase. And pretty interestingly, both teams are saving their ADC picks for the second round, which I feel like almost never happens. So I think these pools are going to get super pinched here. I expect the Jinx and the Aphelios probably to fall off the board next, but we'll have to see. RTM of course is probably going to go ADC here on red 4. Get the best of the rest on the ADC picks. We'll
yeah,
see.
and that gives Hoarder an option to counter pick in the top lane if he's able to pick his top laner R5, and we saw how much he had available for him with Duraikon getting the counter pick. Actually, he was able to win out that matchup. The Malphite goes away. Duraikon's pick last game as the Jinx comes in, and you have to assume that it's going to be the Aphelios pickup here on R4. I actually really like that they didn't ban the Aphelios Return to the Middle Sticks to leave that open if they choose to go for it.
Yeah, definitely could be. And it looks like it's going to be locked in here. Are we going to see the Zeri?
Ooh. Yeah, Aphelios Zeri, it's going to be a trade-off of those two unless the Caitlyn's picked up again. The Zeri is locked in, so you get some of that mobility, some of that hyper late game carry. I did like the Aphelios pickup. I personally think that that would have been a better option here, but the Zeri pickup is very strong, especially when you're getting to that 3-4 item power spike. But getting there is going to be the hard one.
Yep, I think so. And I think Aphelios probably is the best remaining ADC left up here. Florida Southern definitely taking their time to talk about it, but they're going to go with Ezreal. It's kind of interesting here. I'm trying to think about how it's going to work with their comp.
Yeah, they have two mixed identities. So they have Poke with Zoe and Ezreal, and then they have Engage / Peel with Wukong and Rakan. It's kind of two different styles of playing. The Olaf to top it off does not really coincide together. However, we saw a lot from this last game that these games aren't really getting to the full 5-on-5, 35-minute 4-item power spike team fights that we usually see in the pro leagues like LCS, LEC. And it's a lot more scrappy, it's a lot more lane dominant. So it really depends on if they can get out of laning phase to see how these comps can work together, as the Jax pick up very comfortable, very aggressive pick from Hoarder on that Jax into that Olaf. So we'll just have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, and it was instantly hovered there, so definitely what they were thinking about, what they wanted into the Olaf pick straight away there. But I think we're going to see quite a different game from last game. Not quite the tank engage, but for Florida Southern, they're definitely going to want to play their comp where Zoe and Ezreal can either look to poke out some people first before the engage of Wukong and Rakan come in. And for RTM, it's all about the disengage here. They've got the Neuronaut Glass, they've got the Maokai ult to kind of get rid of those engagers. But the biggest thing here is you've got to stay healthy and make sure that Zoe and Ezreal don't poke you out first.
Yes, I completely agree. If Wukong and Rakan start off the fight, I think that Return of the Middle Sticks has a big advantage, especially in these choke points with Renata Glask's ultimate. But like you said, it needs to be Ezreal and Zoe getting that advantage, hitting those skill shots before the fight really breaks out to get an advantage for Florida Southern, so that they can open up an opportunity for their engagers to go in and deal some damage and cause disruption. But I think if we talk about the Jax pickup, we've seen these top laners be willing to fight it out, and Olaf and Jax is a really volatile matchup. So I'm excited to see if we can't see some pathing towards the top side here from both the Maokai and the Wukong, to see if we can't, tilt the scale in one direction or another. Because if Jax gets ahead into Olaf, he's going to be an unstoppable problem in the side lane, able to take down turrets. If Olaf gets ahead into Jax, he's going to be an unstoppable power in the side lane, being able to take down turrets. So
Yep.
We'll have to see who's able to tilt the tables first.
Yeah, and I think both these ADCs on the bot side are going to be looking to scale as much as possible. So I expect that we're going to see a lot of jungle attention towards this top side. Maokai probably has the better early ganks, but I think both of these junglers do want to look to hit that level 6 power spike, look to farm it up, and kind of make their plays around there. So we'll have to see if any of them get out on the map early, but not expecting that here.
I'm also excited to see, I assume that Maokai is going to be going tank Maokai this game.
Yeah.
It makes sense for the team comp. I tried poke Maokai. You are squishy as hell. You just get blown up, and that into Wukong would not work out. So I'm hoping to see tank runes and tank build coming out from Maokai, and then being able to control the objectives through that vision control, through that sapling control, through that terrain control.
You definitely expect something like a Radiant Virtue to come down. I could see an argument for like Demonic Embrace as like one kind of AP item if you're wanting to build it, but does give him some tank stats, makes him pretty healthy. But yeah, mainly just wanting to aid the team through his vision control and monster engage.
Yep, and if we do take a look down here at the bot lane, again, I think it's going to be fairly quiet. But if they ever do get into trouble, that Renata Glask bailout is always a huge ability to keep your eye out for. It gives you everything that you would want as an AD carry, as well as a revive if you're able to get that takedown. But getting the takedown's the hard part if you're fighting in a 3v3, because Ezreal and Rakan are so slippery, as well as Wukong. So we'll have to see how it goes down there. Again, last time it was that Caitlyn pickup from Javi that really created pressure and a push in the bot lane. But then the curtain just opened up in the top side. So we'll have to see if they play a more stable, controlled kind of game. And see if there's any shenanigans level 1, because we did see that late invade this last game. I'm excited to see if they have anything cooking up on Florida Southern side, because that late invade did give them so much pressure. You split the map towards your bot side that you want to play for. I wonder if they're going to do something similar to that on the top side this time, or if it's just going to be a more standard full clear game.
Yeah, they definitely have the option too, I think, with the Olaf, if they decide to bring him in to the mix. Could look to invade the red buff of RTM. But yeah, that was a really good early play from them last game, recognizing the balance of champions that they had at level 1, and were able to capitalize on that by getting an early lead onto Drakowski, who was able to, find some early ganks off of that. Got his team ahead a little bit in the early game, but the top matchup was just too much to overcome in the end. And I think had it not been for that, would have been a very different game, to say the least.
That's right. So game 1, we were able to see Hoarder draw attention up towards the top side, and then that was able to secure middle sticks, some Drake control, and able to get them rolling towards their soul very, very early in game 1. So in game 2, we'll see if it kind of goes the other way around, since we're expecting them to play more towards the top side. I want to see an early Herald, if possible, drop before 14 minutes to try to take advantage of those turret plates, really get the gold snowballing towards one of these top laners and opening up the map a little bit. That would be my game plan as I head into this game. We'll have to see what they decide to do, what the pathing looks like. But who knows, the level 1s that we've seen so far, I mean, the one level 1, but the early game that we've seen from Florida Southern has been really, it seemed well thought out. So we'll see if they have anything cooking for this game.
I'm just excited to see the directed camera give us a top lane matchup again. I think it'll look a lot more entertaining this time around.
Hey, there were deaths. They were deaths last time.
There were. Just not until the first items really came through. So it should be, regardless, more entertaining. I am interested to see what summoner selection Duraikon decides to go with. I'm assuming it's going to be Ghost Flash, but we could see TP or some other summoning spell coming out. I've seen like Ghost Ignite potentially to give you even more lane pressure. But regardless, definitely wants to get on to the back line of RTM, and with the ultimate, it's going to be pretty impactful here. I mean, you can't get hit by Renata Glass R, Anti-R, or Maokai R, so...
That's right, yeah. So we'll see if Olaf is able to get onto the backside here. But that disengage comp will keep the rest of the Florida Southern side at bay. So we'll just have to see how it plays out in these team fights. And like you were talking about, it seems like he went Ghost TP, so he's still going to have that global pressure with the TP. It's kind of hard to be without it in a competitive setting. TP just causes so much pressure in the late game. It makes you able to make these macro plays that you otherwise wouldn't be able to. So I'm happy to see the TP taken here for Drycon. And other than that, it seems pretty standard for runes and summoner spells throughout Nebula, going for that cleanse yet again. It's a short CD for a mid laner as a spell, so you're able to get that W passive damage off the more you use it, as well as just really good into both Maokai and Annie.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested. Spizzy has not left the base yet. I'm trying to figure out if there's a reason for that.
He wants to give them a false sense of security, but
he was just bouncing around in the fountain, so I was like, maybe there's some 5-head strat that I'm not thinking about, but
looking up a pro guide to see what Smite to go.
that must be it. Anyway, here we don't see the invade so far, but I think they could potentially walk in with Olaf. There is an opportunity there on the top side. Olaf's level 1 is probably one of the best ones in the game. But it looks like they're just gonna choose to leash the Wukong on the top side instead, which means Jax should be able to pull the wave and get a small advantage from that.
Yeah, and Spizzy is going to start leashless on his Raptors. So it might be a full clear top side into top gank or full clear top side into full clear bot. Angle for him, Paramore getting control early over this middle brush in the bottom lane. It's just an auto comes out. But no special level 1 like we were talking about pre-game this time around for Florida Southern.
Yeah, didn't have the Braum to really execute that, but I don't think you're going to mind that too much. Wukong just definitely wants to get ahead, wants to farm, and then get that really impactful level 6 ult, so don't expect too much ganking from him unless there's just a really good opportunity to do so.
Yeah, as we see the full clears coming out from both junglers here. Paramore going in and misses onto Puppe as they are able to trade back a little bit onto Javi. Counter-Strike coming out in the top lane. Gonna chunk down Drycon pretty low, actually, with that level 2 advantage up in the top lane as more trading goes back and forth here on the bottom side. Mystic Shot goes wide from Javi. Boy Wonder is able to trade back a little bit. Counter-Strike in, and the... Counter-Strike is able to find a little bit of damage, but this crash is going to be maybe a cheater recall as he misses the cannon. Unfortunate for Hoarder, but the dive is coming through. Who's going to start tanking? Hoarder starts tanking. The stun comes through, and that's just first blood easily into the top lane. They make it look like a piece of cake.
Yeah, and that was really just comes down to the fact that the Olaf leashed jungle and Jax didn't. Was able to get the early push, and then such a smart play there by Spizzy. I don't care about my bot side as Maokai. I just want to get my Jax ahead here. Goes ahead, is going to probably miss some camps potentially here. It's going to have to be guarded against from the Wukong, but you did your job. You're getting this volatile matchup in the top lane going in your favor, and that's what you want.
Yeah, and Drakowski was trying to find something in the bot side, but the lane was pushing into the return of the middle stick spot lane, so not able to find anything there. A little bit of wasted time as that invade is coming through like you're talking about, but it's a big wave that Hoarder's fighting into, but he has that advantage from that first blood kill as he finds another solo kill on Drycon, but now Drakowski is finding Spizzy into the jungle. The Q is able to find a way out, and he barely gets sniped by the bubble trouble as Nebula finds a kill onto Spizzy. Great answer from Florida Southern.
Yeah, and a really good response there. Seeing that Maokai goes to that top side, gives up the bot side camps, was able to get the prio in bot and in mid, and invade there to make the life difficult for Spizzy, picking up the kill. That one going over the Zoe. Going to be very happy with the double buffs here in the mid lane.
Yes, she will, but that solo kill in the top lane has got to hurt for Drycon. That's now 2 kills onto the Jax, and that's one of those volatile lanes that we were talking about. Whoever gets ahead might run over this game, so really good for Hoarder to come out in that early lead. Might make a huge difference when it comes to these later game fights. Looking at like 3rd dragon, 2nd dragon for him to make his appearance to the rest of the map. But if I was Spizzy, I'd just be playing around this very ahead top side. Trying to give him all the resources he needs. Like I was talking about earlier, that early Herald might be able to open the map for this this Jax.
Yeah, it's definitely so. Nebula landing some really good damage
Whoa.
onto Max.
That is insane damage coming out from the Zoe. But yeah, those early double buffs is able to find something as Puppey is able to E over the wall. In this, Rakan is able to find much as another solo kill maybe happening in the top lane. Counter-Strike comes out, not able to find anything. Drycon is able to live, but just barely. No level 6 yet coming through for Drycon, as another dive is going to come through here. Spizzy is hovering in the Tri-Brush.
Yeah,
Porter is going to try to clear this wave. It's
you have
just
to feel like
doomed.
they know
He's
this
got nowhere to
coming.
go.
Yeah. They
But
call it off,
Drukowski is
potentially?
maybe coming up. It's called off, actually, with the Wukong making his way up. Porter might still be looking for it, though. The flash Counter-Strike stud into a killing spree now. 3-0 on this top lane. Hoarder is putting on a clinic.
Yes, really good conversion there from Spizzy. Even though he loses out on the bot side there, able to get his Jax rolling, and then Hoarder has just taken over here, take that early lead, and finds 2 kills. And now, without the TP, you're going to lose this gigantic wave. 2 plates going over, and 6 minutes into the game here, already almost a 1,500 gold lead. So doing pretty good.
Yeah, and he's going to be proxying as well, so that means that Drycon is going to lose even more. He still has not dinged 6 yet, as Hoarder has brought Spizzy back up again. They might be able, they are just bullying as Sleepy Bubble Trouble lands onto Max. Nebula able to get a good chunk there, but shield comes through. They are just running through this top side, which means that they're able to pick up the first turret, Florida Southern is, and able to put some pressure onto this bot side. But as long as bot plays safe, doesn't die to this dive that's going to be incoming here soon, it's a huge win for Return of the Middle Sticks on the top side. Good dodge out from the Axe from Porter, but he might be dead with the Ghost coming through. And now level 6, CC immune. Spizzy might be in trouble. He's going to have to get out of there, as a 4-man dive bot might be coming through into the bot lane as Nebula has made his way down. Oh, the huge Paddle Star damage and the double knockup coming through. That's all she wrote for the Return of the Middle Sticks bot lane. Is Puppey now has the bailout, though. He's trying to get something back, not quite able to, but Rakan does go down. 2-for-1 double kill going over to Javi.
Yeah, and a huge swing there for Florida Southern. Actually puts the gold lead back in their favor. They get the shutdown onto Hoarder. I think he used his Counter-Strike kind of greedily and wasn't able to, or didn't respect the Olaf after that. Spizzy luckily gets out alive, but everything coming up aces there for Florida Southern. Get the kill on the bot side as well.
Yeah, that gold lead that we were talking about, that was happening in the top side. That's happening in the bot side now, but for Florida Southern side. So this Ezreal is now very, very accelerated in this game. He's going to be able to be stacking this tier, able to get the Mana Moon and everything up and running by the time that these important fights are happening. So we'll have to see early Herald being started now, the 8-minute Herald being started by Return of the Middle Sticks, which is, I think, really good. They've really identified their win conditions by playing through the top side, opening up the map, getting Hoarder around now with this lead.
Yeah, they definitely want to open up Jax so he can spread his wealth around along the rest of the map. Interestingly, though, they could just try to leave this as much in isolation as possible, see if he can get more kills.
Yeah, Puppey getting chunked out now in the bot side. Paramore landing these Ws now after a kind of a rough early start. Hoarder trading back and forth, trying to zone off of EXP and NCS, and he's doing a very good job of that. This is just going to increase his lead. Any chance that he gets, he leap strikes onto him. The R comes through, and Drycon gets solo killed yet again.
Yeah, and
Hoarder
I thought maybe
playing.
something could have been stabilized there with the shutdown gold, but Hoarder again with that wave pushing out, playing it so well, is able to find another kill for himself.
Yeah, but that is at the expense of this bot lane. As the Ezreal R comes through, but Puppey is able to find the E away from the knockup, and his R is going through. He has the bailout on him, but now it has gone off, so he has to be careful. Boy Wonder, low on mana, not able to find anything. Javi, low on mana as well, but Drukowski has now made his way to the bot side. Spizzy is trying to match, but Nebula has the first move from mid. Drukowski is able to go in. The Cyclone lands, the bubble lands, and the Paddle Star is able to take out Spizzy as Drukowski picks up that kill. Now Puppey's in danger, not able to find anything. The E away, but the bailout is able to come through, not quite. And Boy Wonder is not long for this world as he will fall as well. Double kill going over to Nebula.
Yeah, and the Sharks just circling around this bot side. Javi playing this so well, poking out Boy Wonder and Puppe. And this has really been the strong side for Florida Southern. They've done a really good job of getting the push in mid lane and being able to roam down the jungle and the mid. And so far, Puppe and Boy Wonder just looking for some relief.
Yeah, and as doomed as the bot side looks for for ROTM, that's just as doomed as the top side looks for Florida Southern. As another solo kill is going to come through here for Hoarder. Not much to it as he picks up his 5th kill of the game.
Yeah, and this game feels like the solo queue argument. Bot doesn't matter or top doesn't matter. We're gonna see which lane matters the most here. So far for RTM, looking really good for Hoarder. And then on the reverse side, you've got the Ezreal and the Zoe that are going off for Florida Southern.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm a top lane main, and I always complain about my bot lane. So if Hoarder is able to carry this one, then I will shut my yapper in solo queue.
Cleansing the NA top laners one stream at a time. Hoarder here, trying to get Kyler to eat his words. So.
Yep. As Nebula going in, another Sleepy Trouble bubble lands onto Max. Hoarder goes in under Icon one more time. The CC immune though comes out. Hoarder is able to just find so much damage with the R, but it's a close one now with low mana on Hoarder. But he's able to find another kill. That's his 6th of the game.
Yeah, and things just kind of Hoarder just kind of running both these games in the top lane, and really without a lot of interference. I know Spizzy gave him that initial kill, which really helped him out, but he's done a lot of the work himself here after that point. And even though this second dragon's going to go down, they're going to get a second top lane tower.
Yeah, and that is 600 gold. Flash forward here from Max as flash away from Nebula to respond as they live. The Ghost trying to live here as he's charmed up. Puppe on the bot side gets taken out by Drakowski. Cyclone finds the kill.
Yeah, Florida Southern doing a really good job of just making sure ROTM is going to pay whenever they're leaving the bot lane alone. Doing a really good job of that. It's kind of their only play that they can do now. I think Jax is to the point where even if you sent an additional person, it's going to be really difficult for him to do anything. So they're just trying to accelerate this bot side and out-accelerate the Jax. Now, with the top lane turrets down, we're going to have to see what the lane assignments end up being. And you'll have to see if anybody can deal with this Jax inside.
Oh, as Duraikon gets a little overzealous. The CC immune, but he's able to find 1 kill onto Spizzy Vert. That is insane damage for being 1 in 7.
Well, I think it's more that Maokai isn't able to really do anything to get him off of him, you know? So, it's finding the pickup of the kills in some good spots here. Hoping that he can get any gold to kind of stabilize this matchup, but look at Hoarder's items here. 2 already? He is just going to try to run the jungle here.
Going under Drakowski as Paramore finds a knock up onto Hoarder. He's ignited, so he's not healing as much. Good sidestep. As the ultimate from Ezreal comes through, not able to find much. The True Shot Barrage. And the second Herald is going to be spawning up here soon, so I wonder if there's going to be a play made towards that by Return of the Middle Sticks.
You have to expect that they're going to try to pick those up because they have the strong side of Hoarder. I don't think really in a even team fight right now there's much you can do as long as Hoarder's, you know, still has his ult and flash, but they might pick it up
out
here
as he's charmed up. Hoarder not able to find much, but the counter strike comes down and he's able to leap strike away. They're trying to find a dive onto him, but not able to find much. The TP coming in from the Annie, the flash away is happening, and the stun coming through onto Paramore. Hoarder's back in there. He does not care that Divine Sunder is keeping him high and healthy as Rogowski dies on the other side of the fight. Max trying to find something. He's got the bailout. The cleanse coming through from Javi as the flash forward onto Spizzy. Finds the double kill now, but Draikon's able to get some stuff on the other side of the map. Bubble not able to land onto Puppe. Moving forward, Nebula has a flash that he can use if he gets into trouble, but Puppe kind of tickles at this point in the game.
Yeah, not much Puppe is going to be doing at 0-3 and not even on his first item yet, but really nice turn there from ROTM. They saw how hard they were committing to try to get that 1,000 gold shutdown onto from Hoarder, and almost were able to get it, but RTM with the Maokai ult, with the TP from Max came in, was able to get some kills for themselves, and it's now going to pick up that Rift Herald. We've got this third dragon, which I think is going to be really big for Florida Southern if they can get to that soul point, try to force ROTM into potentially some unfavorable spots if they're able to like set up vision around it and get the poke that they need to get down.
Yeah, and it's an Infernal Soul this game, as Hoarder is looking to get some onto, oh, and a huge solo kill coming onto Javi. That was a great ward preemptively. Hoarder knew that he was going to E over the wall, but now Hoarder might be in trouble. 3-man coming down. Drakowski has R, Paramore has R, but the Counter-Strike comes through. Sleepy Bubble Trouble lands. Drakowski may be able to try to find something as they're trying to engage back, and a shutdown now coming down. 1,000 gold. Spizzy trying to find anything to stay alive. He's able to heal up, maybe get to his team, but nothing is found yet as Puppe goes in with the ultimate, but he's not very strong. The bailout comes through. Max is trying to find anything as Boy Wonder has to flash over the wall to get out of there. Drakowski now, as the hostile takeover, is not able to find anything. A quadra kill coming out from Drakowski. Huge turn for Florida Southern.
Yeah, that is gigantic there. Drakowski getting 4 kills for himself. And they just kind of make the same play that RTM did on the other side. Hoarder played that initial fight really well, was able to pick up the Ezreal kill, but then the teammates showed up for Florida Southern and were able to kill off the Jax without his ult. So a nice shutdown there, and this Wukong is going to be super strong now on 2 items.
Yeah, and as we look into this third dragon that's just spawned up here, we can see there's no Cyclone, there's no Ragnarok on the side of Florida Southern, but Sleepy Bubble Trouble makes Ragnarok, or makes a Hoarder have to back away. Max gets knocked up here as they're trying to find a little bit of control over this river. Another Sleepy Bubble Trouble lands, and that's all she wrote for Boy Wonder as he goes down. The TP coming in from Hoarder. He's charmed up, not able to find anything, but the Counter-Strike able to stop Paramore from going in. They're kiting back, they're killing Duraikon, as now the Cyclone is coming up soon, so they got to be careful. Ultimates are slim on the side of ROTM as they start up this dragon. Sleepy Bubble Trouble lands, and those have been on point all game. Drakowski goes in, the Cyclone is able to find Puppe as well, and he goes down. This Cyclone is so big, and that's a triple kill coming through for Drakowski. Another Trouble Bubble lands, and he barely lives. Hoarder is able to live with 1 HP. We can see if he can get out of this situation. I seriously doubt it, as real True Shot Barrage goes wide. Sleepy Bubble Trouble goes wide. So does the Paddle Star. Hoarder with the happy feet, dodging everything. Alcove Gamer coming through as Nebula finds the auto attack. Can't miss those.
Yeah, and really nicely played there by Florida Southern. I think it was a little bit of an overstep by RTM there to try to take that dragon, especially with the poke that's still up from this Ezreal and Zoe. Javi's played this pick really, really well, and we've seen the Wukong pop off in both series here, so I think both teams have had a good read on how impactful this Wukong pick was going to be, picking it up Blue 1 in both games, and it's come through for both sides.
Yeah, and just a reminder, loser of the series, I believe, or loser of the game gets side selection.
Yep.
So that Wukong might be a ban coming through on the red side for Florida Southern. If this does go to game 3, it's another thing to keep an eye out for. But, you know, you still have a huge lead onto Hoarder. He's able to pick up all these resources around the map. Jax kind of only gets stronger. But as Jax gets stronger, you know, the cooldowns get lower on the enemy team. They're able to peel better. So it gets a little bit harder to get onto their back line. Saying that, he flashes onto Nebula to cleanse away, and the flash picked up from Nebula is able to get him out alive as the Sleepy Bubble Trouble lands. And now Drakowski might be in trouble, but that is the clone. So Hoarder expending his flash for not much here in the middle lane. Drakowski now has to flash. That is a big engage tool blown away on the side of Florida Southern.
Yeah, Hoarder really feeling that he needs to be the one to make the plays happen. They are going to force that does allow them to get the Herald into the tower, but they may look for more here.
Yeah, as they're going forward, they get the speed boost from the Shirelias as the R finds nothing from Max. Tibbers looks a little lost right here, but they're able to get those 2 turrets in the mid lane, so that's a really big pickup. They get some gold in the pocket that really opens up the map when we're talking about these dragon fights.
Olaf TPing in.
A lot of pings coming down as the Olaf TP's in. CC immune. Spizzy might be in trouble as Olaf is going down, but no, they turn it. The flash from Paramore is really big. The charm comes through. Double kill now for Icon on that top.
Yeah, Olaf now is kind of recovered. I think he's gotten to the point where he's got those 2 items. Really nice TP there. Was able to 2v1 for the most part with his ult up. And that's going to probably mean the Baron here. I don't think RotM can really contest. They're really playing like Hoarder versus the world here. And I think a lot of that has to do with how punishing Florida Southern has been. Absolutely destroying here on the bot side. We were able to get leads for themselves around that while Hoarder was just kind of dominating by himself on the top. So you may not have to eat your words. Seeing how
Bot
this
lane
shakes
does
out.
matter after all. Yeah, I mean, it's just been really well played from the side of Florida Southern. I think one of the unspoken heroes of this game has actually been Paramore. He's been able to get these great flash engages, a lot of CC coming through from him, knockups hitting the priority targets that you need to hit, the charms landing on multiple members of ROTM. So he's been having a really silently great game. But if you're looking at the score lines, you know, it comes down to Drukowski and Nebula. They're hitting all the skill shots. They're getting all the engages. So they are making good progress towards closing out this game, as now Soul Point is on the table for Florida Southern. Another Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands. Paramore R-ing through, gets the knockup, and that's just a one-shot onto Spizzy. He tries to flash out. Nothing is able to follow as another Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands onto Puppet, and he is just absolutely blown up. The CC immune is going forward for Icon. Max trying to cut his way back. Maybe able to find another stun. The flash is good as another Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands. That's a double kill coming from Nebula. This guy cannot miss.
Yeah, Nebula is just showing why this Zoe pick is so impactful, and there's really nothing RTM can do to stop it because they don't have the bans. So Nebula has picked it both these games and is just putting on a clinic here in the second game, landing bubble after bubble after bubble, and that should mean soul for I think that's going to mean soul for them. It's really hard for RTM to walk in here, especially with all the angles with Zoe, but they've got Hoarder TPing on the backside.
Hoarder TP on the backside. Nebula finding another trouble bubble. As the knockup comes through, Nebula is now legendary, as maybe Hoarder is able to find something here. Multi-man stun coming through, but Puppet is just one shot, and so is Hoarder. That might be all she wrote for ROTM. Icon is on a killing spree and a double kill coming through for Javi. It's just a complete flip of game number 1.
Yep, Baron buff. Gonna put this one to bed, I think.
They don't even need the soul.
Yep.
As the Nexus turrets are going down, 1 turret down, 2 turret down, and the Nexus soon to follow. As the respawn timers are too long for ROTM. Florida Southern takes game number 2 in dominating fashion.
Really well played there, especially after Hoarder was just building a lead on the top side, but Florida Southern was able to focus, able to go to their strong side of the map and just make it all about this mid and bot for Florida Southern. Wukong got super strong, and Nebula after he got 2 items was just hitting bubble after bubble, playing it so well, and they said, we don't care if Hoarder's got a lead, we're gonna take this one over the best way we know how.
Well, that means that I can keep complaining in solo queue. But that also means that we're going to be going to game number 3 here, and we'll be loading up into lobby. But before that, we're going to be taking a quick break to recollect our thoughts, and we'll catch you after the break.
Yep, see you in a bit.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to Return to the Middle Sticks Premier versus Florida Southern College, game number 3 on the line as we're already hopping into draft for this game. Return to the Middle Sticks did decide to go blue side, which is what we had expected, and that puts up that Wukong party that we were talking about before on the table. But if we're looking at the bans, it is going to be similar bans to what we've had so far. The Master Yi off the table. The Talon, I'm sure, is going to follow.
Yep.
And then maybe the Gragas on the 3rd. But then that leaves that Wukong open, so we'll see if they change that R3 ban to get that priority pick off the table.
Gonna be the Wukong as the ban, and RTM insta-locks J4.
Well, they have their priorities set in stone. They want that J4 for that engage. As now a jungle answer will probably come out from Florida Southern, as well as they've had a lot of priority onto 80 carries, and especially that Zoe, but they're probably going to save Zoe for R3, like they have every single game so far. And that Rakan, that was an unsung hero of last game, is making his way in alongside the Hecarim.
Yeah, again, going for this kind of backlane style. I think it's pretty similar to what they were doing with the Rakan Wukong from last game. We'll have to see what they elect to pair that with, but you could look for a very similar comp here, where you get the Zoe on the 3rd pick, and then, you know, blind pick your Ezreal with your 4th pick here. Jinx gonna be the lock for RTM.
Yeah, that Jinx I like a lot better earlier in the draft than the late Zeri from game number 2. And paired alongside that Thresh, it's very similar to game 1, where that Thresh was able to play alongside that Jinx, able to act as a protector on that draft, and that R3 Zoe is going to come through. That one was a little bit of a given, given how strong the Zoe has been in the series.
Yeah, and it's left up there. RTM, of course, can't ban it away, and it's looked so good last game, especially once they got into that 2nd item. Welcome everybody to the stream. We're at a 1-1 banger here. Thanks for the raid, Maris over at Middle 6 GG. Hope you had a good time watching the last game. But now we are here, set for game 3 between Return of the Middle 6 Premier and Florida Southern College.
And remember, this is a lower bracket run, which means this is a do or die situation. So if RTM loses this game, or if Florida State loses, or Florida Southern, loses this game, they are out of playoffs. So very, very high stakes coming into this game 3. We should get some hype in chat going, because it's going to be a banger. The Ezreal that we saw last game getting taken off the table, that was paired with that Rakan before, as it looks like some top lane picks that they think Porter could go, are being pulled off. Xayah, a really great champion at dodging that Jarvan, that Thresh engage, is being hovered to be taken away as well. So the team comps that they're building, I think, are both very comfortable for both sides. We've seen them throughout this entire series, and I think this is going to be a good culmination of what each side has figured out about each other as the games have gone on.
Yeah, I'm going to be really interested to see. I mean, I think this might just be the Ezreal. It plays very similar. Oh my. This would be a lock-in.
That would be something. That would be very much something.
Oh,
But
it's
no,
going to be
it
Kai'Sa
goes,
instead.
it goes towards the safer Kai'Sa pick. But Kai'Sa can follow up. They're really looking at that follow-up onto that Hecarim engage, so that Rakan can go in with them. The Kai'Sa can follow up with the ultimate ability. Now, how does ROTM respond to this engage-centric comp that Florida Southern is drafting? They're looking at the Lissandra, which would be a great denier champion to pick up, as well as Talia. These control mages, as the Talia is locked in to really stop the engage. That workaround will really stop Hecarim from getting his E off, Rakan from getting his dashes off and his W and going in, as well as Kai'Sa ultimate is a dash. So I do like the Talia pickup here. It offers a lot of terrain control for ROTM.
Yeah, it also kind of counters some of the dashes. And the Gwen blind here. So basically saying you cannot play a tank into me. And Jack's going to be the hover here. I kind of think that'll be locked in. Does pretty good to the Gwen. Can't stack her passive. But it basically just makes sure that no tank is going to be locked in top, because that would be a pretty miserable matchup.
Yeah, and we've seen Hoarder get the better of these matchups so far in both game 1 and 2, with multiple solo kills coming through onto Duricon. But that is a tough matchup. Again, you can't stack your E with Jack's Counter-Strike up. So you're gonna have to play around, your Qs, your Rs, and really choose your all-in angles very, very especially because if you all in a Jax and he has Counter-Strike up, he is going to win.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pick when you want to go in on this Gwen pick, but Hoarder has really gotten the best of all these matchups so far. We're gonna see another carry versus carry matchup. I expect Spizzy to be spending some more time on that top side, especially in the Jarvan pick, who can be a lot more proactive in this early game.
Yeah, and we'll see how they play out. If you guys didn't catch game 1, Florida Southern had a very, very good early late invade to split the map towards a very volatile bot side, but top lane ended up being the focus of that game. Game number 2, it was more standard. However, Hoarder got way ahead on the side of Return of the Middle Sticks onto Duricon on the Olaf. But again, they played towards that bot side and they were able to get ahead and lead that way, as Hoarder was not quite able to carry from that top side. Now in game 3, we have many options that both the Jarvan and Hecarim can go to. They have great lockdown in the bot with the Rakan, and they also have great lockdown on the bot with the Thresh and the Jinx traps. So we'll have to see which side they want to play towards. Again, another very volatile top lane. Whoever gets ahead can kind of run over each other. So we'll see how pathing goes, how they want to play around early objectives. We saw an 8-minute Herald in game number 2 from Return of the Middle Sticks that opened up the map a little bit in the top side as they got 2 turrets off of it. And we'll see if they have the same game plan going into game number 3.
Yeah, I do expect them to continue to play around this top side, just because it is a carry versus carry. I don't think it's quite as volatile as it was before. I think Jax has some better escape tools, and ways to deal with the Gwen, especially the Counter-Strike and stuff. But hopefully RTM cannot repeat what happened on the bot side last game. Hoping to have a little bit easier time stabilizing, even if they don't have the jungle attention in the early game. But Puppet looked really good on the Jinx pick in game 1, and Boy Wonder was landing really good hooks in game 1 as well. So it's definitely something they feel comfortable on, and I think they're going to have an easier time dealing with the Kaisa over the Ezreal compared with last game.
Yeah, and another thing to point out is the very fun interaction between Gwen and Zoe. Zoe does not do what I would say well into Gwen, especially if she has her W up, because Gwen is immune smile. So I think it's actually kind of a good reactionary pick from Hoarder when it comes to these team fights, because Zoe's going to have a lot harder time to lock down, if he does get ahead, lock down a fed laner with those Sleepy Trouble bubbles, because you are able to reactionarily become immune to those outside spells.
Yep. We'll have to wait out the little 3-minute delay, but a lot to look forward to in this last game here. Both games have been very explosive. Been a lot of fighting, been a lot of kills, and the Wukong was the champion for those in both game 1 and game 2. Not going to be present here in game 3. So we'll have to see if another jungler takes over the Rift, like we saw in the last 2 games.
Yeah, and we saw a very, very good early Jarvan coming out from Drakowski on Florida Southern's side in game number 1. We might be able to see some early ganks from Spizzy. He actually had a lot of pressure in that top side, getting that dive off at level 3 in the Jax versus Olaf matchup, and making Olaf lose a huge wave. So we know that he has it in him to really extend laners that are ahead. early into the game. Jarvan's a perfect pick to do it. You have a lot of mobility, you have a lot of CC early on, starting at level 2.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see if he is able to punish these laners that are pushing either into them or assist on a dive yet again.
Yeah, and we saw a really good early gank come out from him in the first game, or in the second game, to get Hoarder ahead. Really good stack wave from Hoarder, and then Spizzy just ignoring his bot camps, coming up and making sure that they get that kill, and punishing the Olaf in last game. So you can have a repeat gank like that, which you kind of expect on the Jarvan, looking for like a level 2 to 3 early gank to blow a flash somewhere. That could be what helps open up the map for RTM, and definitely what they wanted to play around last game. Just hope that the bot lane doesn't have a repeat performance. Not really their fault by any means. It just, you know, you had a 4v2 multiple times, which really sucks for the bot lane of RTM.
Yeah, you say unlucky in chat, then go next pretty fast if that happened to you in solo queue. But I do really like the Thresh pickup here in this game, especially with the dive composition that Florida Southern has crafted. Hecarim, Rakan, Jax, and then Kai'Sa follow-up. The Zoe is a comfort pick. It's a little out of place, but you know, you can forgive that given the performance from Anti-Hero last game. But the Thresh Lantern is going to be huge this game, keeping Jinx safe, keeping Talia safe, getting them out of those dive situations. I think it's a really good pick for Boy Wonder. And again, like we were talking about before, he had some great hooks game number 1. He was finding these hooks in team fights out of seemingly nowhere to disrupt the backline. So we'll see if he's able to do that. And I'm assuming it's going to be more of a peeling fashion, given the team compositions here. Trying to get members like the Hecarim, like the Jax off of the Jinx Talia, and that way they were able to deal out that damage and then move forward that way as Gwen disrupts the backline. I think in my head that's how it's going to work out, and hopefully they're able to find those angles.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be really hard for Puppet to play this game. You've got, if any CC lands on you, Kai'Sa's going to come in, try to get that assassination. So you're going to have to put down defensive mechanisms like the box from Thresh, like the Talia stones on the ground, to kind of make sure that those dashes don't happen, or if they do, they get stunned and take a lot of damage. So Jinx is going to have positioned super well in this game to not get blown up, and if she can survive that initial engage, I think RTM will be in a good spot.
As now we are starting to load into the game. We have had these pretty fast load times and no spectator bugs so far, so we have been pretty lucky in that regard. As we do load straight into the game. Welcome to game number 3 on to Summoner's Rift. ROTM versus Florida Southern College. Do or die, losers bracket run coming here for both teams. So we'll see what happens. As if any early level 1s really come out, which it kind of seems like they're kind of posturing. They're coming out of base in a very mischievous manner as a 5-man going up into this top river.
Yep.
Maybe they're able to find anything.
Thresh hook? Ooh! Okay, the ghost is going to be burned.
Ghost away.
Yeah, nothing going to come down, but they do get the ghost. Pretty short cooldown compared to the flash, so you're probably gonna have that up before you really need it on the Hecarim, but nonetheless RTM gonna pick up a little bit for themselves.
Yeah, one thing to always point out when it comes to where junglers are looking to gank is if a top laner doesn't take flash. So Hoarder doesn't have flash. He opted for the Ignite TP this game, which I've been playing a little bit of Gwen. It's definitely, you don't need flash, but you know, a jungler can see that and be like, hey, they have no escape tools besides what they have built into their kit. No ghost either, so it's even harder for Hoarder to get away. So we'll see if they put some early pressure up towards that top side that has that kind of low mobility, no summoner spells. Nebula going forward. He's been doing great on this Zoe. He always has a ton of pressure in lane. It seems like he gets the push and at least the poke a lot of the time.
Yeah, it definitely has. We've seen the same matchup both games, but engage on the bot
Hook
side
goes
here.
through. It lands onto Javi. Paramore able to find a knockup. Puppey now trading back. Guardian is popped. Drycon's getting the better of the early Gwyn, which is to be assumed in the top lane. That is a tough matchup. And the Gwyn blind is that's a tough choice. That's a tough choice to make because you do get into these counter pick matchups. So we'll see how well Hoarder is able to scale. Level 2 now hitting the bot lane for both teams.
Yep.
It seems to be a
Jinx gonna
pretty
get the push out with the rockets there, able to do a little bit more splash damage. So, but
yeah,
both
pretty
junglers
slow
pathing
early.
top.
Pretty slow early game coming out from both sides. But yeah, like you said, the J4 is pathing top. That lane is pushed in. He's going to be spotted on that ward right there in the river as the pings come down. So now Duraikon has the move. He might be able to find something alongside Nebula. But I think he'll just retreat to his own jungle, take his blue, and then continue to clear that way.
We're trying to build a wave here. They definitely could look with Spizzy doing his camps. I think the timing of this does put Spizzy in a good spot to look for a dive, but Dragowski gonna come up and maybe look for a counter gank.
Yeah, he was picking the bush like he was going to go into a lane gank, but he decided against it. Those scuttle crabs are spawning, and that is a jungler's worst nightmare, is seeing the scuttle crab up and alive and healthy and well. So they're going to be fighting over that here in the jungle as the top wave is crashing. Hoarder should have prio to come down if need be, if they choose to fight over it, but he's going to give up top crab, and Drakowski's going to go ahead and pick that up. As now Hoarder might be in trouble. Pings are coming down, but Hoarder seemed confident to turn that even in a 2v1 situation with that big of wave.
Yeah, he's definitely playing with some ego here after those first two games. Played super well and said, you're not going to do anything with this big of a wave around me. So,
that auto damage coming through is huge from Nebula as the Ignite comes down. No cleanse this game as Spizzy now is trying to find something. An EQ flash to knock up might be coming through. A flash EQ, in fact, knock up, but Nebula finds another one of those sleepy trouble bubbles, which have been basically heat-seeking throughout this entire series. As now Hecarim comes through the mid lane, Max might be in trouble. He has holding flash, not able to find anything. Flash over the wall. Drakowski pops the ghost. As now Max is surely in trouble, but Spizzy finds Drakowski. How is Max still alive? He's able to get out. Drycon kind of fails the E flash, but the first blood comes through as now they might be looking onto Drycon. The slow from the W comes through. Spizzy not able to find anything. EQ coming back up soon, I'm sure of it. EQ to knock up, and that's a kill for the Gwyn, but a trade back as 2 kills go to Duraikon, and the counter-strike comes out, and a great dodge away as Q comes back, and a double kill coming through for Hoarder, as that's a big turn on the top side.
yeah, traded double kills there for both top laners for both teams. Really nice for them. Gonna be looking to play through their tops this game for sure. A lot of flashes blown there though, notably, and with Spizzy gonna be hitting this level 6 here in the next couple minutes. You definitely can look to capitalize off those blown flashes.
Boy Wonder maybe finding a death bush as he's able to flay, and the hook comes through into the chompers, but nothing comes of it. Boy Wonder dropping dangerously low. That flash is blown like you were talking about, but it was traded from Paramore, so supports no flashes. A little bit of a scary situation going through in the bot lane. Oh, a great knockback from Max. However, Drakowski is here, but so is Spizzy. Maybe he's able to find an EQ. Another bubble trouble lands. EQ goes through, it misses. As Drakowski is able to heal back up. Max just barely not able to find the damage on Drakowski. Max is surely not long for this world. A double kill comes through for Nebula. They try to dive Puppey, but he's able to dodge away the flash from the knockup. His action's happening all over the map.
Yeah, oh, Hoarder
Oh,
hitting
an
6.
R coming through from Hoarder. That's for sure a kill, as that's a killing spree for a Hoarder. He has just been running this top lane all series long.
before that, Florida Southern, really nice play in the mid lane. RTM couldn't hit the skill shots they needed to, and just Nebula with the fancy feet, making them miss. Gonna pick up 2 kills, have a shutdown for themselves uh, as Duraikon TPs back to the top lane to try to pick up some of the remnants left there.
Yeah, this Zoe will become an issue if left unchecked like this. Throughout the series, Nebula has been having a great time on his main pick in solo queue. By far and away is this Zoe. So definitely comfort, and it shows quite obviously with this gameplay, with this movement, with the abilities. I mean, his Sleepy Trouble Bubble cooldown seems shorter than all the other Zoes that I've ever played against. So props to him. He's been doing a great job so far this series.
Yeah, he's really been making the pick do wonders for him and his team. As they kind of posture around this dragon, maybe look to repeat dive. Zoe's got the push. We've seen this before in game 2. We're going to see if RTM's able to do anything to answer it, though.
Yeah, quite notably, no ultimate abilities on Paramore, except there is going to be that R coming through from Durkowski. Now, doesn't have to use it yet. Is able to kite back, a trade back kill onto the support, but Boy Wonder is the one that picks that up. It's not the cleanest dive in the world, but it is a dive nonetheless, and that gives them priority for the dragon.
Yeah, just a little bit disappointing that that kill goes over onto the Thresh, but you're not going to feel too bad. You're outnumbered there. A really nice play, but they're going to rotate Max up here.
They are going to make a play onto this top side. Nebula's on his way. Duraikon trying to leap strike out of there, but he's not able to find anything. The ultimate, it keeps him alive for a little bit, as well as the counter strike, and that is just a straight one-shot from Nebula onto Max. Not much you can do there. The Sleepy Trouble Bubble does not find its target, but Porter is now in trouble. Huge turn as Spizzy may be able to find Nebula. He's able to get him pick up these summoner spells. One more auto attack will do it. That's a big shutdown going off onto Spizzy. Crazy turn there from Hoarder. That damage was insane from the Gwyn.
Yeah, this game has been so entertaining here. Just really close fights from both teams. People living with little bits of health, but this is something that we didn't see from Max in the last couple games.
As the ultimate comes down through, and there's that follow-up.
Nice
there's that
play.
dive comp, but there's that peel from Boy Wonder. Durkowski not able to find anything. Hook goes wide, but that is a great disengage there by Boy Wonder.
Yeah, and Jinx without the flash there is able to get out. Boy Wonder placing a really nice 2-man play that gets his 80 carry to safety. Does have to burn the ghost, but you'll take that any day.
Any day of the week. The box was immaculate there from the Boy Wonder, but plates will fall going over to the side of Florida Southern. So this Kai'Sa will be very ahead, and as you saw, that's just how it works. It's going to be Hecarim engaging with his ultimate, and then a crazy follow-up from the Jax, from the Rakan, from the Kai'Sa. And it's a pretty straightforward, self-explanatory comp. So we'll see if they are able to disrupt it, if RotM is able to disrupt the simplicity of Florida Southern's composition, as these Sleepy Trouble Bubbles seem to always be landing.
Yeah, that's what's so cool about champs like Zoe.
Now Boy Wonder's in a little bit of trouble, but the knockup's not able to find anything. He saves his flash there. Very, very good confidence there from Boy Wonder.
These high skill champs that like Zoe are so fun to see people that put a lot of time on them, because the skill ceiling is just so high. Like, you can just continue to play these champs better and better and better, hit these skill shots, but Max is going to come up here in the top lane.
Yeah, the mid lane roam as the counter strike finds on him. Max has to be careful because Duraikon still has damage to flash away, and they're able to find the kill. Very close though.
Yeah, Max trying to get out of his own lane here, helping Hoarder twice now, has roamed up to this top side. Continuing to put pressure on the Jax, and Hoarder's got 5 kills now. It's worked out pretty well for them in the first couple games.
As Spizzy picks up some of that CS there in the mid lane from that roam from Max, and that is 4 turret plates going over to Hoarder. I don't know if all of them were solo, but still a lot of gold in his pocket. But you see the same amount of turret plates pretty much falling on the bot side. So It's again kind of that split map scenario. Top's way ahead, but bot's a little bit behind. Mid lane is the really big point of contention here, though, for this game. His ultimate comes through in the top lane. Hoarder doesn't have a lot of mana, but Drakowski doesn't have a ton of damage. He's able to find a way around the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. The E comes through, but the shutdown goes through to Nebula. That's the one person you do not want it on.
Yeah, luckily only 150 gold shut down there. But the dive going to be answered back here for RTM.
Ult forward from Javi as Spizzy is now taking up the turret. That last turret shot will count him off, and that is just a failed dive, but they're going to keep going. Very low health bars as the Jinx rocket barely misses, but it's going to be 2 kills going over to the side of ROTM. It started ugly, but it ended clean.
Yeah, Florida Southern actually played that dive really well. They're going to be pretty happy in a 4v2 trading 1 kill back there. Really played that well, held their flashes until they absolutely needed them, made sure Swizzy was going to take way too many tower shots there. And overall, I think that's going to be very positive for Florida Southern, getting the shutdowns on the people they need to. So.
Yeah, but the one thing that you don't want to look at is that item difference, that kill difference in the middle lane. As Hoarder is able to find the E backwards and the R forwards, but Duraikon's able to live it. But the turret goes down there in the top side. So that should open up Hoarder to maybe move around the map a little bit, maybe get some of his lead elsewhere, or draw pressure up towards that top side as a split pushing Gwen.
Yeah, we saw how big.
EQ going in, the R onto Javi. Remember, no flash, no R on Javi. Paramore trying to keep him alive, but he's not long for the world as the Hecarim dives in. Paramore is one shot. That's a shutdown going over to Drakowski, as now Nebula's in trouble. There is Hoarder moving from that top side, a 350 gold shutdown onto Hoarder from Nebula. That's a great turn with a dragon up for ROTM.
And now we're seeing even more off that bot side play. The flash is being blown into the Drake, make it so easy for Spizzy to go in with the Cataclysm and just lock down this Kai'Sa. No escape for her. And that's gonna starts off the fight with 2 pretty easy kills for RTM.
Yeah, as well as Nebula going down there, but now Hoarder is in trouble. He's able to E over the wall. Maybe he's able to find a way out. The E goes through on Drakowski, but the Lantern is right there for Boy Wonder. Great awareness there from ROTM.
Yep, getting Hoarder out there, maybe being a little too greedy, trying to go for some extra turret damage, but in the end, isn't going to be punished for it. Now RTM going to reset. Got themselves a nice gold lead here, but it does feel very contentious. I don't feel like that 3k gold lead. It doesn't feel like a 3k gold lead. These fights have seemed very close. It seems like whoever is able to kind of get a pick and get the ball rolling first is the ones that are succeeding. And a lot of that gold is on the Thresh here. 3 kills already onto the Thresh here in the early game. And while it's nice to get that first item, not who you want that extra gold going to.
No, it is not. And like you said, it is very contentious. One Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands, and then that's an entire fight turned from a one-shot. So they have to be very careful, the squishies, for ROTM about this Zoe, as Hoarder does a little bit of trolling there. They're looking to make a play onto this top side. Thresh is moving up, but they are found on vision. A lot of pings coming down. Maybe now ROTM is the one that's caught, as they seem unaware that they are posturing around this area. The knockup comes through, but the Lantern's right there. Spizzy's able to get out just fine. And this Thresh is coming up huge for these fights.
Yeah, finding the escapes that they need to, but they are pretty poked out here. I don't think they can really contest this turret with Hecarim posturing the way he is.
Yeah, the middle turret will surely fall.
RTM's going to trade back on the bot side with Gwen. Definitely going to take it there. But the Rift Herald spawn is going to be very soon here. So they're going to be able to walk in, get some vision for themselves. And RTM is going to have to clear that vision before they make any plays towards that top side.
Yeah, that's right. They have Herald spawning up here soon. Second Herald. A little bit of a game state lull as one dragon is taken for each team. So no team has the dragon stacking going in their favor. But they do have side lane pressure from this Gwen at all times. You need at least 2 people to go match her if she decides to stay in a side lane. And because of that pressure, that Rakan is coming down, and they are able to get some the start onto the Herald, but Order might have found bit off more than he can chew, as maybe the R and the Q come through, and a double kill comes through.
No!
Oh my goodness, the Riftmaker is just insane as the Unstoppable Onslaught comes forward for Drakowski, and no, that is not what you want from Hoarder, as he cannot find the third. Nebula now, Flash Away is going down. Max is who you wanted on. Very good from Boy Wonder not to steal that kill.
That was so crazy, man. Hoarder was able to land basically all of his last string of his ultimates there on 2 people, and that healed him up so much with the Riftmaker and the Gwen passive there. Able to overcome. I thought for sure he was dead there. Really well played there. And we said they're going to need to send 2 people. Well, it looks like they're going to need to send 3 to stop Hoarder in the side lane, as long as he's got that ultimate up. So all things going RTM's way here in these little skirmishes.
Yeah, and if we take a stock of itemization, Gwen is getting towards that third item. She's going that Cosmic Drive, as that Shadow Flame and that Riftmaker are complete. So a 3-item power spiked Gwen is going to be huge coming up in these fights. If she's able to find her way onto the back line, onto the Kai'Sa, onto the Zoe, it's going to be very big. And this Jarvan as well is silently getting up quite a bit of items here. A lot of armor coming through, trying to tank up that front line of the jungle AD and top laner, but he is very susceptible. Here's the 3 that you were talking about. Those R's are coming through. That is not going to be enough, though, as Javi has to flash away. Spizzy might have an angle here for a crazy knockup. He's looking, he finds the R, but the Counter-Strike comes through. Spizzy might have bit off more than he can chew. EQ's out to safety, and the Jinx is excited, though. And here comes the Jinx. Double kill coming through. W not quite able to find its target, but Puppey is looking for the last 2 remaining members. Nebula is scary, however. He does have a picked up flash, so Puppey does have to be careful. Sleepy Bubble Trouble's not going to find his target. They got to be dancing around this objective right here. Vision is not in their favor.
I feel like we have to be very quiet while Nebula is just kind of stalking, looking through the walls, trying to find the bubble to get some kills here, but looks like going to be chased out finally, and RTM's going to pick up the objective for themselves here.
That's right. Now 2 dragons going over the way of ROTM's side. That's what you want when you're talking about dragon stacking. And this Ocean Soul is not necessarily the best soul that they're looking for, but if they're able to find it, then Gwen becomes a lot harder to kill.
Yeah, and I think it also helps with some of the poke that they're going to see from Nebula here. If they're able to get poked out and then actually recover that health in a timely manner, it can be pretty helpful. But in the side lane, this Gwen's just going to be really, really hard to deal with.
It might be the Hoarder show yet again, as he is 8-4-4, 3 items completed on this Gwen, who is just going to become a monster. And again, in that team fight, it was kind of some unsung praises, as Boy Wonder is able to find another hook on a Paramore, and he just goes down, and Boy Wonder is going to sing his praises as the E to the side to guarantee the true damage. The R is not able to find anything, but Hoarder is able to find that kill on Duraikon. Boy Wonder did some crazy in that last dragon fight, did some crazy peeling yet again with a great timed box, with a great lantern to keep the key members of ROTM alive, as now their eyes turn to Baron.
It's hard to believe this has only been a 20-minute game. I feel like it's so much action has been happening that it's been going on way longer, but RTM gonna start up the Baron here.
Some poke damage coming through, but Baron is able to be secured by Spizzy. That's a huge swing. That's 1.5k over to ROTM. I mean, they're up 7k gold at 21 minutes. It's kind of hard to throw this lead, so hopefully they're able to stay calm, not int away their gold bounties, and able to really control these objectives. If they decide to just go for turrets, if they decide to go for more dragons, that's what they're going to be looking for, is that control, that stay calm, make sure that we don't get picked off in the side lane, make sure that we don't get picked off by Zoe from a million range, and just move forward systematically from there.
Yeah, RTM definitely trying to put down vision so that they can see where Zoe's trying to find her angles. But that's kind of the one, I think, saving grace for Florida Southern is if they can find that pick onto a very key member like Puppe or something, they may be able to actually turn a team fight. But Hoarder just chucking away in the side lane. It's going to be able to push the wave up, and they're going to rotate the rest of the team to him. Group up as 5 here and try to push down for this inhibitor.
Yeah, Nebula does get the top tier 1 on the side of Florida Southern, but no TP means that he'll have to back and he'll be a little bit late to this fight. The tier 2 does go down in the bot side for ROTM. So now they're just looking to siege up here. They have not the best sieging comp in the world. Gwen's not very good at it, except she does have that Drowsy lands as Max goes away. Now here's a huge engage coming through. The shutdown comes through from the Kaisa onto the Talia as it's all she wrote for ROTM. That's a big engage, huge overstep for ROTM. As Gwen is not able to find anything on the backside either. Spizzy Vert is now going down for sure, and it's an ace for Florida Southern. That's not what you want to see if you're an ROTM fan.
Yeah, gonna pick up 2 shutdowns along with that, 3 shutdowns along with that actually. And that's what we were talking about. Nebula lands a great bubble and a ton of poke onto Max there, basically taking him completely out of the fight. And then the engage tools after that were able to finish Max off and just kill off the carries in Max and Puppe. And then there was nothing left for RTM to do there.
Yep, and that is just Baron buff completely wiped off the map for ROTM. However, they still are retaining that gold lead, but from 7K cut down to 4, makes it a little bit tougher, makes these fights a lot closer.
Dragon gonna be up here, but Max actually TPing behind.
Yeah, maybe they're able to find something. That's a double TP coming through. Nebula might be in trouble here. No flash as the R comes through. Gwen is immune. Smile as the bubble trouble goes straight through.
A nice wall here from Max, actually.
Nice wall. Maybe they're able to find something off of it. Spizzy looking. Cannot R the Rakan. He can get out very, very easily. Max jumping over the wall. Ooh. Spizzy finding a double knock up into an ultimate. The flash out has to come through from Javi as the Super Mega Death Rocket goes wide. And now they might be turning their attention onto these turrets and or the dragon that's coming up. They are at 2 dragons stacked. Max finds a lot of damage from that turret as a inhibitor is picked up.
Yep, gonna pick up that mid wave, and then they're just gonna go straight on this dragon. This could be potentially a little bit of an overstep. You've got all the members for Florida Southern gonna try to make their way down here. It's always scary when you've got Zoe with angles through the jungle here, but I think they'll be able to pick it up. It's just, can they do the fight afterwards?
Yeah, as Hoarder tries to zone out, but he might be in trouble now. Oh, and a one-shot onto Javi with no flash as Daraikon's trying to find his way into the back line, and he goes golden. The sleep lands onto Boy Wonder, and he goes down as well. But now Jinx is excited, and a double kill comes through. Nebula and Drukowski are all that's left. Not able to find anything except for a Drowsy onto Spizzy. Oh, and Nebula might be in trouble now, taking that R forward. As the R comes through again, the Drowsy, but Nebula's trapped. Remember, no flash, can't do anything as Spizzy gets that kill. And that's a huge swing when it looked down a little bit for ROTM to come back in that fight.
Yeah, Javi just melting from Hoarder there. It's able to pick up the kill onto the carry, and then there wasn't much left in the tank for Florida Southern. Puppe getting the resets he needs to, and that was super big for RTM. A big fight into the dragon, and then picking up the fight on the end there. So really nice to see that.
RTM is on soul point now. Porter has to not get caught here. Drukowski's looking. Oh, but the E finds, but his E will be able to go over the wall fairly easily. The ultimate the onslaught of shadows not quite finding its mark over the Baron Pit wall there. But it's great to see Hoarder playing with such confidence, playing so far forward, getting all the pressure that he needs to, and being able to still escape fairly easily on this Gwen with such low cooldowns.
Man, they really should add the smile to Gwen's immune. on the ability. Like if I was a Riot dev, maybe for April Fool's Day, I just add the smile at the end.
Yeah,
That'd be pretty good.
you add the smile whenever Gwen is immune, and you add the smile whenever Jax dodges an ability with Counter Strike,
Yep.
or dodges an auto attack with Counter Strike.
That's pretty good. Dodge smile.
But
Unstoppable smile.
yeah, whenever Malphite R's, you just get a smiley face pop up on your screen.
Yep.
ROTM is going to be pushing these waves into the Baron, so they're going to go ahead and start it up, and it is melting very, very fast from this Gwen. But here's the engage that they
nice
might be
hook.
looking for. Really nice hook. The box is stopping everything as Hoarder goes in. Paramore's not able to find anything. The Jinx is excited, and Hobby is dead. Double kill coming through from the Jinx as Nebula is on the wrong side of history here. But the Sleep is able to find its target. Triple kill coming through from Puppet as the Super Mega Death Rocket finds Nebula. And that might be end here without even taking the Baron.
Yeah, I think that is going to be the end. They are going to have a wave that's still in mid lane, but they may just decide to try to tank it until the wave gets there. Jax is going to have a little bit of time, but not much here. Trying to wait for this recon, 3 seconds.
Does not care as the GA is popped from Spizzy.
Goodbye.
And he's just blown up, and that is going to be all she wrote for game number 3 as the Nexus is going, and gone. ROTM takes the series 2-1.
Yeah, really nice series there for RTM. Both teams playing actually super well. We got to see different people popping off, different carries there at the end. A really well played series to Florida Southern. They should be proud of dropping out of the tournament here. Put on a really great performance. So hats off to them. But RTM getting the dub. Nice to see.
It is absolutely amazing to see the boys put on a performance. That is all that she wrote for this best of 3 series as ROTM takes it 2-1. Just an amazing performance, especially from Hoarder. All 3 games he was dominating that top side. They were able to build pressure from him and then expand that throughout the map, especially in game number 1 and game number 3. Game number 2, they kind of faltered with it. And it was a great showing from Florida Southern. But in the end, ROTM takes away the dub.
Yeah, definitely the series MVP going to Hoarder. Had great 3 games, as you mentioned. We are going to be back, not on my stream, but on the Middle Six main channel on Friday for RTM's next playoff game, where they will face, I believe, Contingent Esports. So excited to see how they continue to do, especially going to be down bans, so should be fun drafts, fun games. And thank you all so much for watching. Thanks so much for Kyler for casting with me.
Thank you for letting me.
Yeah, we hope to see you all on Friday. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.